Get off my lawn.
This was back when you could make a short film and then you'd be directing a Thor movie 2 months later. I actually did all the glitter.
You did the glitter yourself?
Yeah, I built this system in particular. It was like really easy.
Oh my God! Oh my God!
This is a sequence that shouldn't exist.
I watched that in theaters and I immediately think, I'm like, whoever did those CGIs did an amazing job. Not knowing it was all just traditional comp and After Effects using shape layers.
Who uses shape layers?
I never use shape layers.
No, they're accidents.
Hey, what's up? Welcome back to another episode of Visual Effects Artists React. Today, we've got our longtime channel friend, Seth Worley, on the couch with us today. Seth, tell us a little bit about yourself.
I'm Seth Worley. I'm a writer-director of short films, commercials, and now major motion pictures. I have a movie coming out called Sketch that comes out in theaters August 6th, and you can buy tickets for it right now. So just go ahead.
Yeah, just do it.
You're a YouTuber filmmaker like us, and so it's like, I feel like you're one of our brothers, and you got a movie in theaters.
Yeah, that's legit.
You got a lot of fun visual effects in that movie, and we're gonna talk about a lot of that stuff today.
Okay, sure, we will.
We have to.
I see you colored it in.
Do you think it made it less scary?
Oh, no. No, you don't have to worry about that.
So Sketch is about this little girl's drawings coming to life.
True. It's about this little girl who draws pictures of monsters that are, I wouldn't say disturbingly violent, but they're upsetting for the adults involved. And those drawings end up coming to life and terrorizing a small town. We often describe the film as Inside Out meets Jurassic Park. So that's it.
I'm very interested to look at some of these visual effects because I'm assuming you had the same budget as Avengers Endgame for all the visual effects.
They just give you that budget no matter what.
Yeah, it
now.
doesn't matter. Yeah.
The theme is.
We did not have lots of money. And let's find out if you can tell. Roll the footage.
What?
That monster's name is Dave.
Crayon.
He's made of crayon, covered in glitter. Our goal was with these monsters was to make something that was in between flat 2D, like 2.5D drawing look, but also not.
Sorry, hold up.
Yeah.
That was a freaking truck smash. Dude, I love that you had all those boxes in the back to fly up.
Why would he have so many boxes filled with glass?
How many attempts did you get to nail that bus
One.
crash? I bet. Yeah, I knew it. I knew it.
We could afford one bus that barely worked. After filming in it for weeks and being miserable in it, we got to crash it into a cornfield and get our revenge. And then it got revenge because we had to keep filming in it for another week.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, in the corn. I've been developing this movie since 2016, 2017.
Dang, okay.
So I have VFX tests I did as early as like 2017. So
Trap code.
Yes. So this is with what was Trapcode Form, now is built into Trapcode Particular, of course. It's just a big bunch of particles in a sphere. I just scribbled on paper. My wife came in that day and was like, "What you doing, buddy? What you doing today?
With your crayons?
Yeah. So I scanned all these in and made a library of sprites, crayon sprites. So those became the particles that make up that. But the problem is this Trapcode approach was really cool in these wide shots, but it didn't hold up in close-ups and it didn't hold up with the rig was really, really limited. Once we started this movie, an artist named Mark Lundgren, we brought him in to help us model the monsters, and ultimately he rendered several of them. He had the idea to just do this in Cinema 4D. So basically our monsters are cloners built up of these card sprites of those scribbles. And then mixed in there, of course, we wanted them to have this mixed media element to them. And so like the googly eye, we rigged it to where we had control over it, but it was also physics-based. So it would, wherever it would point, we'd let it run out of steam at some point and keep falling and flopping around. Cool. And if it's running, it's like the balls kind of bouncing around in there.
Yeah.
And then the glitter was all particular. I actually did all the glitter.
You did the glitter yourself?
Yeah, I built this system in particular. It was like really easy.
We were mentioning like Trapcode Form in particular. These are After Effects plugins that do particles and stuff. I've used these plugins for years.
Yeah.
I love them.
Because I am so limited in my knowledge of 3D. Because I'm a director who does visual effects, I kind of hit my ceiling in terms of what I will teach myself or spend the time to do.
Sure.
And so I'm really locked into After Effects. And so like stuff like particular like the glitter and all this dust that's falling off them, that's stuff from Action VFX. There's some Action Essentials in there because of course there is and there always is. And those ended up being the same sprites that I made that I showed you earlier. So we ended up building a whole library of them in different colors. We explored the idea of having them animate, like you expect to have that scribble like on 2s and 4s. And that made it feel a little too movie-y. And so we stuck with them being these like stationary cards that would stay like they were. And so like I abuse dust, stuff like dust in all my comps like crazy, because especially when you're blending these like 3D and entirely digital elements, it really helps to have live action elements mixed in.
Totally, I
as you
agree.
know?
I'd do the same thing.
It was important to me that we like found every opportunity to have dust from the ground kicking up from these things, but also colored dust and elements coming off of them because they're made of these real materials that don't usually move around and like largely like this. And so you'll see them, there's always a little bit of like glitter or like blue dust coming off of them in shots. There's dust coming up off the ground. It got to be where I was abusing it like crazy.
Sure.
And I just had that, you know, that gif of Kylo Ren screaming more? Dan Sturm, my visual effects supervisor, he made me one that just was filled with dust and it said more dust, and I would just use that for reviews. The movie was born from this experience of mine of, my sister got in trouble when she was little for drawing a picture of her teacher getting pelted by arrows, and it was comically violent in hindsight, but concerning for all parties involved, that she had to go see a counselor, and the counselor asked her, did you really want to see this happen to your teacher? And she said, well, I did when I drew it. I don't now. And the counselor was like, well, then I think you did the right thing. I think drawing this was a much healthier choice than doing it.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking as a kid, hearing about this and being like, that's the most badass thing anyone's ever said to a kid. Like this thing that you've done that made all the adults in your life nervous and scared of you is actually evidence that you're a good person making healthy choices. And I was like, that's the kind of adult I want to be in a kid's life when I grow up. Cut to, my daughter is in kindergarten and brings home these pictures that are inventively violent. Like, and I'm looking at them and I'm going, oh, you can believe two things at once. Like you can believe art is the safest place for violence, while simultaneously believing that your daughter's a serial killer and it's somehow your fault. And that tension felt really funny to me and really writable, and that was the seeds of this movie.
How cool.
Gotcha.
I love that. How big was the VFX team for this?
At first, it was this internal team of like, I'd say no more than 10 people, but we knew we needed more money and people. And so that Dave sequence, that bus attack, Dan was like, I'm gonna bring in some people to work on this sequence. We'll prioritize this. So if we have this one sequence looking great, if we need to get more money or procure more resources, we'll have this to point to. Because a lot of people were like, why is this taking so much work? It's just kids' drawings. And they didn't understand we were trying for something bigger than that. And that's why this whole sequence, I can say, was done with Cinema 4D. It was lit and rendered in Redshift. And there's a couple other sequences that were like this, but then the big stuff in the second half of the movie, we brought in some amazing vendors.
That to me is the truest superpower of being a director and a visual effects artist. Not saying they didn't or whatever, but if you have a vision and no one is really supporting it, you can kind of prove it yourself.
Yes.
Or with a very small
try
team.
to, yeah, 100%.
And then get more people on board that way.
You got to see it, man.
I'm
August
looking forward to
6th. August 6th. You can buy tickets now, and you should. You know why you should buy tickets now? I'm just going to say it. This is an independent film. It's an original film. We're coming out in a lot of theaters. Very high chances that there is a theater or multiple near you. To keep that movie in theaters long enough for you guys to get a chance to see it and stuff, it really helps to buy tickets now and to pre-order them. It doesn't matter how you pre-order them. Just pre-order them, please. It's okay if you don't, but I really think you do. I think you'll like the movie. Camera. I'm talking only to the camera, not to you guys, but I think you guys should too.
Do you want to go watch another blockbuster that a committee made, or do you want to actually see something that has heart to it? And this is a film that anyone can enjoy, and I think you will too if you go watch it.
He's right, you know.
I'm personally very excited to see it.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
Spiders.
Are these the spiders?
They are. So these were in the short. If you've seen the short or any clips from the short, they're from the short. These are my favorite. These are also heavily inspired by, in the 90s, Taco Bell did these monster eye straws every Halloween that were crazy straws with these eyeballs in them. And they were what I used to make my first movie in 6th grade called Eyes: The Invasion.
I remember these.
Yes, I loved these things. I still do. I keep meaning to start collecting them off eBay, but I haven't. It's about time I do. But these were heavily inspired, kind of a homage to that.
Roman!
This is a sequence that shouldn't exist. I don't know how we got this sequence. So yeah, they're made of chalk, by the way. So they burst into powder.
Oh, there's a lot of object tracking here too, like tracking the helmet, tracking the
Lots.
bodies. Oh my God! Oh my God!
Now, Are you going to tell me that this is like particular?
No.
Okay, thank you.
No, this was an incredible vendor, a partner of ours.
This is high level.
Who did, and they've all got these little objects. Several of them have knives they're just carrying like upright. They did all of these shots of the eiders, and I honestly, truly don't know how they pulled off half of them. But I know that we were constantly saying more dust, and there's a reason why we had to do all the dust in post that I'll get to. As these things pour into the house, and as they start fighting with them, like the dust will just start filling the air, and it'll get more and more red. So we bought buckets of this red chalk powder that you see at like Holly festivals or like color runs and stuff. We had a plan to have these condiment bottles filled with them that we would, before every take, just spray into the air, so it'd be lingering.
Just a bunch of aerated dust of chalk.
And well, obviously that was bad for lungs. Our storm coordinator was smart enough to, a week before we were supposed to shoot this sequence, tested what would happen if you exposed it to flames.
Whoa.
Chalk dust is flammable.
It doesn't respond well. And so a quick Google search reveals there have been huge tragic accidents at like concerts and stuff that will blast this stuff in the air and it'll get too close to the lights and giant flame ball. And so we couldn't do this safely anymore. Because like one static electricity spark would just send that house up in flames if we filled it with that chalk powder. There are some shots where we did have like ping pong balls filled with baking soda with colored dye. Baking soda didn't linger in the air, it would just kind of poof. But there's a couple shots where like he'll step on it and a powder will burst out.
I noticed that.
But then for like large scale stuff or wider stuff, we were doing it digitally and adding it. And even once Odd Studio would turn in their shots, I still would just sneak a few and just add more haze after, because I have a problem, really. I'm like adding dust to home movies with my kids. I'm like, Dad, why are you doing this?
Dude, yes.
That's so great.
I love it. The viewport render.
So this was funny because that was the first version they gave us. It was like, we're gonna need a lot more. So then they were like, how about this? And I was like, maybe a little more.
And they're like, really? We thought that was on the board.
Okay, play this clip of Darcy. So we found this house. When you see the movie, there's a lot of damage that's done to it.
So you damaged the house.
We found a house that was set for demolition.
Oh, that's good.
They make those public. We had a PA who had just shot a music video in a house that she found a list of houses set for demolition, and she got to film a music video in one of them, and they just destroyed a bunch of stuff. So there's Darcy. All of us by the last week were just taking hammers to walls and stuff. So there's another one with me doing house damage that shows you that this became therapy for us. Right. We started doing damage where it wasn't necessary.
Looks like you're having a good time.
Like, we're wrapped at that point.
Oh.
We're wrapped. We're all just destroying this house.
That's so
ripping cabinets off the hinges.
Dude, that poor frying pan is bent.
Oh, yeah. Then 6 months later, someone found the house on Zillow. They didn't destroy it. They put the cabinets back on the hinges, drywalled over, patched up the drywall.
No.
And so I am hoping and praying that on August 6th, when we all go see Sketch, one family is going to be like, hang on, that's our house. What did they do to our house? Because I'm telling you, they put the same cabinets back on. Like,
what?
I don't know what happened there, but it did not get demolished. I think they liked the paint job we did to it.
Okay,
and they were like, oh, we could just sell this
Actually,
house.
you know what? Let's not destroy this house.
Yeah, if this is your house, sound out for the comments if you live in this house.
I'm seeing a lot of design inspiration based off of Dave on these eiders.
Same artist, Mark Lundgren, modeled all of our monsters in cinema.
No, it's cool though, because it's like, sometimes I always feel a little bit of like, I don't know if imposter syndrome's the right word for it, because it's like, I use After Effects, I use Cinema 4D, but in the movies, they're using Houdini, they're using Nuke, and I'm like, do I need to use these professional tools? And it's like, no.
Dude,
they're all tools. You can make whatever you want with them.
But it would be moments where I can be working with these incredible VFX houses, and I'd be like, I would take their comp, their slap comp they gave me, and I'd like mock up some dust or mock up some kind of extra thing, and I'd be like, I mocked this up, can you? And they're like, oh, just send us that, pre-render that and send it to us. And I'd be like, you're just gonna use what I made in After Effects? They're like, yeah. Is any of this real? Are any of us like real professionals? Or do we all just making this up? And it turns out there are people that are just better at it than us, but they're also making it up on a grander scale.
So we actually always get a lot of recommendations for stuff to look at on the show from the comments. Do you have anything that we should try to recommend them comment about?
Oh, monster shots, just shots of monsters. I would love to know what everyone's favorite shots of monsters are, because there's so many good ones and even bad ones, and I want to know what your favorites are. I personally want to know.
Yeah.
Tell me for reasons.
So Seth, the first thing of yours that I ever saw was the short film called Plot Device.
This was back when you could make a short film, put it on Vimeo or YouTube, half the world would watch it, and then you'd be directing a Thor movie 2 months later. And a lot of filmmakers got their break during this time. I was fortunate, I got the water bottle tour of LA from this. This short very much like kicked off my filmmaking career. Now, I wouldn't say professionally, because I was making dumb shorts like this for a long time and already doing commercials, but this, I didn't know anybody in LA prior to this short coming out. And then, and then within a couple months, I was repped by one of the big four, at the time, 4 agencies, and was taking meetings on like franchise movies, and it was ridiculous.
Get off my lawn.
That's Axe Body Wash.
What is?
The blue.
Oh, that's funny.
But like this explosion shot right there, I'm gonna take a guess.
Yeah.
Action Essentials 2.
Correct. Of course. What else would it be?
It was the gold standard for indie filmmaking. So like he's running across and there's little dirt hits and smoke hits and
All
stuff
that
like that.
stuff, 100%.
And then the guy explodes, so that's just a clean plate where he gets erased. And you just cut to the clean plate and fill it with tons of little blood elements that are tinted blue. Yeah.
And then I found the thing that worked was this one ground burst that kicks all this sand up in the air in the shape of a person.
Yes.
And then it dissipates left.
I know the exact file.
That did all of the work. And then you just had a crap load of camera shake. So that was Plot Device. That was so many years ago. The effects do not hold up a lot of the time. I find that so much of VFX is just how it feels watching it in the cut. It has nothing to do with how it looks.
100%.
You can do like a whole sequence of, the short as an example, you can do a whole sequence of kind of shoddy VFX, but if it feels visceral and the energy is working in the sequence, and they work as a whole, then that's all it needs to do. I learned how to use After Effects from Andrew Kramer. Before that, had been doing visual effects like in camera, like practical effects, figuring out how to do stuff in Final Cut Pro, or even do stuff like weird fake optical compositing stuff.
Andrew Kramer Video Copilot, and then of course YouTube and stuff like that just makes it so attainable for anyone who's getting started in visual effects. And we are not alone by a long shot. And that's why I wanted to bring everything everywhere.
Oh, it's such a
I almost loved it again.
It's crazy. You're starting to get it.
This is like famous for the fact that 5 artists made almost the entire thing.
It didn't help us on sketch. Our producers were like, 5 guys did that.
I bet.
And we're like, they don't have monsters.
Yeah, legit.
Come on.
It's
Also, these guys are incredible, and I can't match these guys.
This movie to me is like, again, mainly 5 artists. They brought on some auxiliary artists on top of that, but not that many. I think it was like 7 or 8. But again, like this made the VFX shortlist for the Oscars. And they grew up learning on YouTube and learning from Andrew Kramer. I mean, like VFX supervisor, Zach Stoltz, literally started learning Blender in order to do some of this stuff.
So Ethan Feldbaugh walked us through, they came on VFX and Chill and walked us through how they, I specifically was like, walk me through that lens break, because I feel like I can figure out how to do it, but you made it look so good.
All in camera.
Great aberration on the cracks that's happening
Amazing.
there, and the fact that you have different takes happening between them, and that you've offset them a little bit.
But it's like this approach, you can make this a hyper complex thing.
They're just pushing them on a chair.
They literally, just pushed Michelle on a chair very slowly and speed ramped it and had a leaf blower behind her. And they brute forced it, and
Where
it's
would visual effects be without the invention of the leaf blower?
Seriously.
Where would YouTube visual effects and amateur visual effects be without the advent of the leaf blower?
Yeah.
So with Everything Everywhere All at Once, I don't know if you're gonna get to the scene or not.
Please do, whatever.
I can never get over the chopping sequence.
Oh, it's coming up.
Okay,
100%.
We're definitely gonna touch on that.
Absolutely nuts. We need to.
And so I watched that in theaters, and I immediately think, I'm like, wow, whoever did those CG asses did an amazing job. Not knowing it was all just traditional comp and After Effects using shape layers.
Who uses shape layers?
I never use shape layers.
No, they're accidents.
Literally, sometimes you go to Roto. I'll explain.
No, I'm too mad. We're not explaining shape layers.
So sometimes in After Effects, you will go to Roto something and you'll misclick, and it will create a shape layer at the top of your After Effects comp that nobody wants in their comp. No one's ever wanted.
You make a solid and you draw a mask on a solid. That's what you do. You don't draw and make a shape layer. Why would you do that? It's actually, shape layers, I come to learn, are really useful and really cool.
Well, apparently they are, because we're all
because of this.
to it. But yeah, so point is, I've only, and I guess all of us here on this couch have only ever made shape layers on accident just to delete them. But this was the approach that Jeff used to solve what I thought required 3D. So a chef is dicing up invisible vegetables and shrimp and whatnot. And of course, as a visual effects artist, you're given this plate and it's like, okay, hey, add all the food. So you think, okay, I've got to worry about, perspective, the rotating nature of the shrimp, or the lighting changing as it's rotating inside of it or splitting in half.
And the fact that
textures
it's a bunch
inside of it.
Food, like
It's
actual food. You gotta have high quality models, you gotta have high
Yep.
quality textures, you gotta get the lighting right and all that stuff.
And that takes time, unless you're Jeff Dessum, who came up with such a cool solution to just do it with traditional comp. Because a mantra for this entire movie was, what do we know how to do? Let's stay in that lane for the sake of finishing this project. And they would pass projects around each other, like After Effects projects, and just see what you could add to it or what I could add to it. And they just try to find the right fit for the right shot based on the skills that they had.
I got so mad when I saw it, like so angry.
Because this is the kind of stuff that inspires me. You look at this and you go, oh my gosh, he's painting in the highlights and the shadows.
Colored on a shape layer.
Look at this, onions, layers. He's just moving them. And it looks real. I didn't bat an eye in the theater.
You, Jeff.
Dude.
Sorry.
In French, that means love you, Jeff.
Love you, Jeff. Please bleep me saying love so he thinks I'm threatening him.
But yeah, I mean, this is like what this movie represented to me. It's like scrappy artists finding a way. And it did make me realize you don't always have to go the brute force, like hardest or like correct way of doing something.
Yeah.
If the end result like sells the vision, and this completely does. Like this looks incredible and is one of my favorite shots in the whole movie. And it was done with shape layers. And on that note, shout out to the animation as well. Like those curves are beautifully balanced. It feels like such an organic shape that those arcs are making as he's
It's
throwing
so
up the food and
cartoony
coming
to a point too. Like it feels like a Pixar gag in a good way.
Really, really cool. So yeah, just a real great highlight of what's possible. Oh, and then the Easter egg. You guys know about the Easter egg, right?
Not yet.
Okay, so there's a really cool scene here where she's flipping through all of her different existences in the multiverse.
They told us on VFX and show that they would just take breaks essentially and just and knock, because that whole sequence is one shot in the grid. Like in their VFX like grid, that whole sequence of images is just one VFX shot. But it requires extensive amount of like making all of those individually.
You have to make them all, yeah.
And so they were walking us through some of their favorite ones. My favorite one, which is just a brick house with her face just cut out and put over the top of it. It's my favorite one.
Okay, that's easily my favorite too. That is like, it's crunch time, we got 30 seconds left, just freaking do something.
It's like, who cares? Done. All of mine would have been that. I would have kept turning these kind of things in and they'd be like, Worley, you're gone.
Yeah, they're like, dude, we can see them. Like they're coming through now. For me personally, it's like why I got into visual effects is to make fun stuff like this. And so it must have been such a treat to just go ham on this. But there's one Easter egg in that series of images that I don't know if you guys spotted or not, but it's this one. This is in the movie. Yes. It's the actual VFX team. It's just
reviewing shots. It's so good.
I'm like, dude, shout out to these guys. Like, they
got 10 minutes left. They got 9 minutes left. They better hurry.
Remember that? Zoom timers? Jeez Louise. But yeah, it's like such a tremendous feat and like so inspiring.
They didn't even grade it. They left it the log. Like, that's what's so great.
Yeah.
But yeah, Everything Everywhere All at Once, just super inspiring, maximizing a budget. Like, this is just a true gem.
You're a true gem.
Oh, I needed to hear that.
And you are too. You.
This was a lot of fun. I cannot wait to see this movie, August 6th. And Seth, thank you so much for coming on to the show.
Oh my God, thank you for having me. How was I allowed in here? This is so fun.
I'm surprised it took this long to finally happen.
I've been lost for a long time. You found me.
You've been making this movie the whole time.
I'm back.
And of course, remember to go see Sketch in theaters on August 6th. You can get your tickets now. It actually helps a lot. I'm just saying.
August 6th. Please go see it. Thank you guys for having me. This was so much fun.
Yeah.
Did we say August 6th?